Okay, let's unpack this. Um, have you ever opened up a tool like N8N or, any of these powerful automation platforms and just felt completely swamped?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, there are just a million possibilities, all these node connections. You might have great ideas, but making it real feels like, I don't know, you need a PhD in everything.
That feeling is, I think, the biggest hurdle for so many people. It's like staring at this massive toolbox and just not knowing which wrench to even pick up first.
Totally.
And that's exactly why I was so interested in the source material for this deep dive. We're digging into something from Neilfan, June 2025, and it offers what feels like, well, almost a shortcut.
A pretty bold claim, actually.
It claims you can master like 90% of business automation using just 4 essential workflow patterns.
And that's the core idea, isn't it? It really shifts your whole focus.
How so?
Well, instead of trying to learn every single node, every feature N8N has, you learn to spot the basic shapes of business problems. And this source says, look, there are really only 4 main shapes. So it's not about knowing every tiny detail. It's about grasping the core logic, the patterns that just keep showing up, whatever the industry, whatever the tool.
Exactly. And once you see those patterns, that huge, overwhelming N8N interface, it starts to look a lot more manageable.
Okay, so this deep dive, it's really tailored for you listening right now to cut through all that complexity and find a sort of structured way to actually build powerful automations.
These 4 patterns are the key.
All right, so let's dig in. Why is this pattern approach such a game changer?
Yeah.
Because most people, I think, when they start with N8N, they do try to learn it node by node, right? Feature by feature. It feels like trying to learn a dance by memorizing foot positions for every single beat of every possible song. It's just exhausting.
And really inefficient, actually. The source points out the real breakthrough is realizing that, businesses have tons of different tasks, but the problems automation solves, they tend to fall into just a few predictable types.
Okay, so it's less about building a unique snowflake every single time and more about recognizing the underlying structure. So what are these 4 core problem types, the ones that map to the patterns?
Okay, the source lays them out pretty clearly.
Okay.
First, something needs to happen right away when new information pops up. Real-time reactions.
Got it. Event-driven stuff.
Precisely. Second, tasks that have to happen regularly, on a schedule. Processing stuff in batches, like routine work.
Kind of like a daily cleanup crew for your data.
That's a great analogy, yeah. Third, the classic problem of getting different software systems that weren't designed together to actually talk and share data, building bridges.
Ah, the old my CRM won't update my email list headache.
Exactly that. And fourth, tasks that used to need a human to think, using judgment, creativity, maybe categorizing things, but now you can make those processes way smarter with AI.
So just those 4 buckets cover, like, most automation challenges. Is that the aha moment?
That is the shift. It means when you face a new automation task, your brain doesn't just freeze up thinking, oh no, I've never built this exact thing before.
Right.
Instead, you start asking, okay, wait, is this a real-time capture thing? Is it scheduled? Am I trying to sync systems? Or, is this a manual task I can boost with AI? It gives you an instant mental checklist.
That feels incredibly useful, just changing how you look at it. Okay, let's break them down. Pattern number 1, capturing information in real time.
Yeah, this one's probably the easiest to grasp for most people. It's all about reacting instantly when new data shows up.
Like what?
Someone fills out your website form, a new lead registers, a customer buys something, maybe an important email hits your inbox. You need something to happen now.
It's like having a super efficient assistant who just watches for specific info and acts on it immediately.
And never needs a coffee break.
Yeah.
The source gives a basic structure for this pattern.
Okay, what's that look like?
Step 1, the trigger. It's the outside event that kicks it all off. The form submission, the new email, a row added in Sheets, a new order. That's the signal saying, hey, pay attention.
So something happens outside the automation tool and that triggers the workflow inside.
Correct. Step 2, process the information. You take that raw data from the trigger and, well, you do something with it. Maybe clean it up, standardize it, pull out key details, or make a quick decision like, is this lead high value based on their budget?
Refining the raw data you just caught.
Yep. Step 3, store the information. Once it's processed, you put it where it needs to live. Your CRM, a database, project tool, spreadsheet, make sure it's saved reliably.
Get it, process it, save it, logical.
And step 4, take action. This is the automation's immediate response. Send a confirmation email. Ping your team on Slack. Create a task. Start another process. It's the direct result of that new info arriving.
The source had a really good concrete example, the lead capture system. Can you walk us through that?
Sure. So imagine a contact form on your site. Name, email, their problem, and crucially, their budget. Someone, let's call him John, fills it out. That's step one, the trigger.
And all that info flows into your workflow instantly.
Instantly. Step two, the automation processes it, sees John's budget, say $8,000. Your workflow has a rule. Budget over 6K errors. Mark as high-value lead.
Okay.
Step three, John's details name, email, problem, budget, plus that high-value tag it automatically added to your CRM. Maybe Airtable, maybe HubSpot. No copy pasting, no typos.
That's a huge time saver right there.
Uh-huh.
It prevents mistakes.
Definitely. And step four, because he's high value, the automation immediately sends you a notification.
Yeah.
Slack, email, whatever. New high-value lead from John. Budget. $8 say, maybe jump on this quick. And it also sends John an automatic thank you email right away. Thanks for reaching out. We'll be in touch.
Wow. So in literally seconds, the lead is captured, qualified, saved, you're alerted, and the prospect gets confirmation, all without you lifting a finger after they hit submit.
That's the power, yeah. The source mentions other uses too, like automatically transcribing a new video upload and feeding the text into another flow to create social posts.
Oh, interesting.
Or instantly analyzing customer feedback forms. Or even triggering inventory reorders the second a sale drops stock below a threshold.
So how would you actually start building this pattern one in N8N? What kind of nodes are we talking about?
You'd start with a trigger node, maybe the form trigger, email trigger, or often a webhook node. Webhooks let other apps push data to your workflow instantly.
Okay.
Then you add processing nodes, if nodes or filter nodes for decisions, maybe a function node if you need to tweak the data. For storage, you'd use nodes for your specific tool, Google Sheets, Airtable, HubSpot, whatever database node.
Right.
And for actions, email nodes, messaging nodes like Slack or Discord, nodes for task management tools.
So for you listening, mastering this first pattern is about automating those immediate responses, making sure nothing slips through the cracks and you can react super fast.
Okay, let's move to pattern two. Scheduled batch processing. This is for the stuff that doesn't need an instant reaction but needs doing regularly. Think routine maintenance, reports, processing groups of things together.
Like setting recurring tasks in your calendar, but the automation actually does the task.
Exactly. But it does the work itself. Perfect for things like checking inventory levels every single morning, or generating a weekly sales report, or maybe scanning your contacts once a month to find people you haven't talked to in a while.
Makes sense. What's the basic structure look like for this scheduled pattern?
Step one is the schedule. Unlike pattern one, this doesn't wait for an outside event. It starts based on time. You set it daily, weekly, monthly, maybe even every 10 minutes if you need that.
Okay, time-based trigger, not event-based.
Right. Step two, gather information. When the scheduled time hits, the automation goes out and collects all the data it needs for that run, maybe reads all the rows in a specific spreadsheet, pulls a list of customers from last week, checks competitor pricing on a few websites.
So it actively fetches the data it needs to work on.
Yeah. Step three, process in bulk. This is kind of the core difference. You process all that gathered info together, analyze it, do calculations, categorize things, filter the list. It's usually much more efficient for these kinds of jobs than doing things one by one.
And this is where things like looping or array functions come in, which honestly can sound a bit intimidating.
They can sound that way, but the idea is pretty straightforward. Looping just means the automation goes through each item it gathered, one after another, and does the same thing to it.
Okay.
Array functions let you work with the whole list of data at once. Maybe sort the entire list first, or pull out just the emails from every contact before you start processing individuals. They're just tools for handling collections of data efficiently.
Got it. Efficiently handling many things at once.
That's the idea. And step four, generate reports or take actions. Based on all that bulk processing, the automation does something useful. Compiles a summary report and emails it out. Updates pricing in your e-commerce store. Creates a list of low stock items to reorder.
What are some other practical uses for this?
Oh, loads. Generating weekly social media analytics reports is a big one. Reconciling financial data from different places at month end. Sending out recurring payment reminders. Or even just regularly cleaning out old temporary data that's clogging things up.
And building this in N8N, how does that start?
You'd start with the schedule trigger node, obviously, set the timing. Then data collection nodes, maybe HTTP request nodes to hit APIs, database nodes, or specific service nodes like the Google Sheets node to read data.
Right.
For the bulk processing, yeah, you might use the loop over items node or other data manipulation nodes depending on the task. And the output uses nodes for sending emails, updating systems, generating files, whatever the final action is.
So for you listening, pattern 2 is your key to taking all those repetitive scheduled data chores right off your plate. Make sure they run like clockwork and give you regular insights without you having to lift a finger.
Okay, pattern 3. System synchronization. This is, well, it's huge today because everyone uses so many different tools, right?
Yeah.
Your website, CRM, email marketing, accounting, project management.
And they almost never talk to each other properly out of the box.
Exactly. It's like trying to get, I don't know, 5 people who speak different languages to coordinate a complex project without a translator. This pattern is your translator and your messenger service.
Okay. Building the bridges.
Exactly. Making sure data stays consistent across all those critical systems.
How does it work? What's the structure there?
It usually kicks off with an event in one system. Step 1. Something happens in System A. A customer signs up on your site. A payment goes through in Stripe. A new lead gets added in your sales tool.
So it starts kind of like pattern 1 with an event.
Yes, but the specific goal here is updating another system. Step 2. Capture the event. Your N8N workflow is listening, usually with a webhook node. System A basically sends a signal, like a little notification to N8N saying, hey, this just happened, here's the info.
So the webhook is like System A tapping N8N on the shoulder and passing it a note.
Perfect analogy. Step 3. Process the information. The automation takes the data from System A's node and gets it ready for System B. It might need reformatting, maybe you only need certain pieces of it. Different systems need data structured differently.
Translating the note so System B can understand it.
Precisely. Step 4. Update System B. The automation then sends that processed, translated data over to System B, creates a new record there, updates an existing one, maybe triggers something in System B.
The source used a Stripe payment example, which felt really clear. How does that play out with this pattern?
Right. So imagine you sell an online course. Customers pay using Stripe. Step 1. Customer pays in Stripe. Payment successful.
Okay.
Step 2. You've set up Stripe to send a webhook notification straight to your N8N workflow the instant that payment clears.
So N8N knows about the sale immediately.
Instantly. Then step 3 and 4 happen almost together, very fast. N8N gets the customer's details from Stripe name, email, what course they bought. It uses that info to automatically create their user account on your course platform. That's System B. But maybe it also updates your CRM, System C, with this new customer and their purchase history. And maybe it also triggers your email system, System T, to send out that welcome email with their login details.
Whoa. Okay, so one payment in System A triggers actions across potentially 3 other systems, course platform, CRM, email, all automatically.
Yes. And the source highlights this can all happen in less than 30 seconds, 204/7. Customer pays, and boom, they get their welcome email and access almost instantly.
That's not just efficient on your end, that's a seriously good customer experience.
It really is. And that's why this pattern is so valuable. It kills manual data entry between systems, which is where so many errors happen.
Totally.
It keeps your data consistent everywhere. It delivers that seamless, instant experience. And the time saving is just massive. Tasks that might take someone 10, 15 minutes manually, done in seconds.
How do you build this sync pattern in N8N? What are the key nodes?
You'd likely start with a webhook node to catch that incoming notification from System A. Then data processing nodes to clean or format the data as needed. You might use logic nodes like IF or filter. Maybe you do something different if it's a new customer versus an existing one.
Makes sense.
And then you connect to the destination systems using their specific N8N nodes, your CRM node, email system node, database nodes, maybe a specific node for your course platform if one exists, or a generic HTTP request node if you need to talk to its API directly.
So for you listening, pattern 3 is really the backbone for knitting your whole business software setup together, keeping everything in sync, cutting errors, and delivering really fast professional experiences.
All right, final one. Pattern 4, AI-enhanced manual processes. This is where automation starts doing things that, until recently, felt like they really needed a human brain.
Things needing judgment, or creativity, or understanding complex text.
Exactly. Think summarizing long documents, writing personalized outreach emails, figuring out the category for a customer support ticket based on what they wrote, generating product descriptions, analyzing customer feedback for sentiment. Are they happy, angry, confused?
Stuff that's hard to do with just simple if this then that rules.
Right. Traditional automation struggles with nuance. AI excels at it. So you're taking a process a human used to handle and using AI to make it faster, maybe more consistent, or just possible to do at scale.
Gotcha. Making manual tasks smarter. What's the structure here? The source mentioned it often includes human oversight.
Yeah, that's common. Step 1, trigger. Like pattern 1 or 3, an event kicks it off, a new email lands, a document gets uploaded, maybe a new social media comment about your brand pops up.
Okay, standard start.
Step 2, gather information. The automation pulls together all the relevant context the AI needs. For an email, maybe the whole conversation thread. For a document, the full text. For a support ticket, the customer's message and maybe their recent history.
Feeding the AI the background info it needs.
Exactly. Step 3, AI processing. This is the core. You send that gathered info, plus really clear instructions your prompt to an AI service, like OpenAI's ChatGPT or Anthropic's Claude via their N8N nodes. The AI does the thinking task, writes the draft email, analyzes the sentiment, suggests categories, generates the summary.
So the AI does the heavy lifting based on the context in your instructions.
Correct. Step 4, human review. This is optional, but often wise, especially for external communication. The AI's output gets sent to a human. Here's the email draft AI wrote. Looks good.
That makes a lot of sense. You want a final check for tone, accuracy, especially before it goes to a customer.
For sure. And step 5, take action. Based on the AI's output and the human's okay, if you included that step, the automation completes the task. Sends the email, updates the support ticket with the category and suggested reply, posts the AI-generated content draft for review.
That customer support example the source gave really drives this home. Comparing old versus new.
It's a great one. Old way. Support email comes in, agent reads it, tries to figure out the real issue, maybe searches the knowledge base, asks a colleague, finally drafts a reply. Easily 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes per ticket.
Yep, sounds familiar.
AI-enhanced way. Step 1, email triggers the N8N workflow. Step 2 and 3, N8N grabs the email text, sends it to the AI with prompts like analyze the support request, identify the issue type, check our knowledge base for relevant articles, and draft a polite, helpful reply in our company voice.
And the AI just does that.
It does its best based on the prompt and data. It drafts the reply, maybe includes links to relevant help docs. Then step 4, that draft, maybe alongside the original email, gets sent to a human agent, perhaps via an internal chat message. Review AI draft for ticket #123. Reply approved to send.
So the agent just needs to quickly scan and approve.
Exactly. If it looks good, they reply approved. And step 5, the automation sends the polished email to the customer. The whole thing might take the agent less than 2 minutes instead of 20.
Wow, that's a massive difference.
Huge. And the quality can be really consistent too.
So why is this pattern such a big deal?
Well, it lets you automate tasks you just couldn't before, tasks needing that nuanced understanding or creative spark. It helps maintain consistent quality, especially in communication. And maybe most importantly, it lets you scale personalized service without needing to hire exponentially more people. You handle more, faster, smarter.
How do you build this in N8N? What are the key pieces?
Your trigger, of course, email, form, whatever. Nodes to gather all the context needed for the AI. Then the AI nodes themselves, OpenAI, Claude, others, where you carefully craft your prompts. That's critical.
Getting the instructions right for the AI.
Crucial. If you're doing human review, you'll use email or messaging nodes to send the draft out, and maybe wait nodes to pause the workflow until you get that approval back. Then nodes to handle the final action based on the AI output. The source really stresses testing and refining those prompts because AI isn't always perfectly predictable.
Right. So for you listening, Pattern 4 opens up a whole new frontier. Automating intelligent tasks, offering more personalized help, really scaling your capacity.
So, okay. We've got the 4 patterns laid out: real-time capture, scheduled batch processing, system synchronization, AI-enhanced processes. But the big question, right, you're staring at a problem you want to automate. How do you know which pattern or maybe combination of patterns is the right fit? And how do you avoid common mistakes when building?
Yeah, exactly. Moving from knowing the theory to actually, building something that works without pulling your hair out. Where do you even start with a new task?
The source gives some great guiding questions to filter your thinking. First off, does this thing need to happen the instant something specific occurs, like immediate reaction required?
Okay.
If yes, you're probably looking at pattern 1, real-time capture.
Got it. Instant reaction, pattern 1.
Second question, Does this task need to run regularly, on a schedule, maybe processing a whole bunch of data at once?
Yeah.
If yes, that points strongly to pattern 2, scheduled batch processing.
Routine, time-based pattern 2. Makes sense.
Third, is the main point here to connect 2 or more different software tools, to move data between them or keep them in sync?
Right. If that's the core job, it's likely pattern 3, system synchronization.
Connecting tools is pattern 3.
Okay. And fourth, does the task involve judgment, creativity, understanding complex text, classifying things, stuff that used to need a human thinker and could maybe be done or helped by AI?
Yeah.
If that's the heart of it, you should be thinking about bringing in pattern 4 AI-enhanced processes.
Those are really helpful starting points. What about tasks that feel more complex? Like that consultation call example you mentioned earlier. It sounded like it used more than one pattern.
Exactly, and that's super common. Complex solutions are often combinations of these patterns.
Yeah.
So for the consultation call, someone books via a form, that's an event. Pattern 1 kicks in instantly to capture that booking info.
Okay. Starts with pattern 1.
Then maybe you take the info they provided about their needs and feed it to an AI to analyze and score how good a fit they might be that's layering in pattern 4.
Ah, the AI enhancement. Right. And then you take the original booking details plus the AI's score, and you automatically push all of that into your CRM and maybe add the appointment to your calendar that's pattern 3, syncing the final info across systems.
Ah, I see. So you identify the main trigger or need, then layer on other patterns to handle the different steps involved,
Yeah.
like building blocks.
Precisely. Modular thinking.
Mm.
Now, when you actually start building, the source warns about common pitfalls, a big one. Over-engineering.
Needing.
Using, like, 50 nodes to do a job that could realistically be done with 5 or 10. Start simple. Add complexity only if you really need it.
It's tempting, though, isn't it, to build the fanciest possible workflow?
It is. But complex workflows are way harder to debug and maintain later. Another huge mistake. Ignoring error handling.
What do you mean by that?
What happens if, say, one step fails? Maybe an API is down or the data is weird. Does your whole workflow just crash and stop silently? That's bad. You need to build in error paths, maybe using on-error triggers or IF nodes to catch failures, maybe send yourself a notification, maybe try again later. Workflows need to be robust.
Okay, plan for things going wrong.
Definitely. And the classic computer science rule. Garbage in, garbage out.
Right. Bad data leads to bad results.
Exactly. Poor input data management. If the data coming into your workflow is messy, incomplete, or in the wrong format, your automation isn't going to work right, no matter how clever it is. You need steps early on to validate and clean the incoming data before you try to process it.
Makes sense. And
Yeah.
you can't just build these things and walk away forever.
That's the dangerous set it and forget it mindset the source warns about.
Hmm.
Things change. APIs get updated, the software you connect to releases new versions, maybe your own business process evolves. You have to monitor your automations. Check on them periodically. Make sure they're still running correctly. Build in notifications so you know immediately if something breaks. Maintenance is key.
So for you listening, this practical advice, avoid overcomplication, handle errors, clean your data, monitor your workflows, is just as crucial as knowing the patterns. It's what makes the difference between a cool idea and a reliable automation that actually saves you time day after day.
So let's try and pull it all together. Why do these 4 patterns matter so much? Why is this framework valuable?
Well, for me, honestly, it circles back to that feeling at the start, the overwhelm. Seeing these 4 patterns it cuts through that. It gives you structure.
It absolutely builds confidence. When a new automation challenge comes up, you're not starting from scratch in panic mode. You have a mental framework. You start thinking, okay, which pattern does this resemble? That shift alone is huge.
And it really does feel like a learning shortcut. You don't have to memorize every single node in N8N first. If you get the core logic of these 4 patterns, you're equipped to handle, well, the vast majority of common business automation needs.
And the source's market observations back this up. They noted that, yeah, AI enhancement, pattern 4, is a huge driver now. System synchronization, pattern 3, is maybe the most common core need for businesses trying to connect their existing tools.
Right.
Real-time capture, pattern 1, is fundamental for anything involving leads, orders, immediate responses, and scheduled processing, pattern 2, handles all that essential background routine work. Mastering these 4, it genuinely positions you to tackle most automation projects you'll likely encounter.
So for you listening, that's the bottom line, isn't it? Confidence to actually start building a much faster path to becoming effective and developing skills that are directly relevant to what businesses need right now.
Yeah. These four patterns, real-time capture for instant reactions, scheduled batch processing for routines, system synchronization for connecting tools, and AI-enhanced processes for smarter tasks, they really are the foundation for, let's say, 90% of the automation work out there.
They cover the immediate stuff, the regular stuff, the connecting stuff, and the smart stuff.
And the great thing is, you don't need to build some massive, complex, multi-pattern workflow on day one.
No, definitely not.
Pick one pattern, find a really simple, maybe slightly annoying manual task you do that fits that pattern, and just build something small. Get that first win.
Yeah, don't wait until you feel like an absolute expert on everything. Just pick one pattern that resonates, find a small task, and start building something. Get your hands dirty.
The source makes a really strong point near the end. The businesses that are winning and are going to win are the ones that are fast, super efficient, and can deliver personalized experiences even when they grow. These four patterns, they're not just abstract ideas, they're like the practical roadmap to building that kind of operational excellence.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you to chew on. Take a look at your own work, your business, maybe even just your personal productivity tasks. What's the single biggest time drain, the most tedious manual process you have right now? Thinking about it. Which of these four patterns feels like the most natural, the most obvious starting point for you to finally automate it?